All right, we're going live in 10 seconds. Kira's now in Atlanta. Launch Radio, Geoff and Kira live. We're going to see you all right. Yeah. Boom. We're live.
Fish live.
We're live.
Coast to coast.
And Johan is in the room. What's up, Johan? We already have guests watching us. Launch Radio has made it to Atlanta.
Yes. Safe and sound.
What's what?
It's safe and sound here. There's no fires. I can breathe the air.
How is it there? It's a world of difference, right? Do you like it?
Yeah, it is. It's very peaceful. Everyone's really chill. Everyone's very nice. I'm surrounded by woods and, birds and everything else. It's actually really a nice break from reality, I guess. It's like a little retreat house.
I remember just when you go to the South or the Midwest, just suddenly, seeing trees again and seeing green around you. Like it was an awakening.
So nice.
Right?
Yeah, you forget. And I'm originally from the East Coast, so when I moved out to Los Angeles 15 years ago, I was like, where's the trees?
Yeah.
Where'd they go?
Yeah.
And you just assume that from a naive perspective, when you're young, you're like, oh, everything looks this beautiful.
Right.
And until you move, you're like, oh, where's the woods and the birds and the butterflies and, nature.
Yeah.
So.
It's a world of difference there.
But kudos to you. This is an amazing setup. We're able to have Geoff and Kira live.
Yeah.
And all the technology is working out so well.
Well, the technology is working out so far. It's everybody doesn't see behind the scenes, but I've slowly, worked through it on this end. We have a tech advisor, and his name is Akira. So we have
Not
Kira.
To be confused with
Not to be confused with Kira. So we have Kira and we have Akira. So what are the chances that you have Kira and then you get a tech advisor named Akira? Remember when we had Kara and Kira? Simulation. Wild, right?
Clearly it's the simulation.
And it's wild. So we've got Johan in the room. He's a guest right now. I see that he's chatting, and he says he's surrounded by ocean because he lives in Florida. Well, that's nice.
Oh, beautiful.
So they got water, and most importantly, water. Well, Johan, we're happy to have you joining us from Florida there in the chat, because this is our test run. It's really a test run podcast. We didn't have a lot of topics planned, but we wanted to get on here because it's been 6 weeks and almost 2 months. Like, gotta chat it up again.
I know we've got a lot of stuff going, but we'll be live tomorrow. So
Yes.
Some really great topics going on, and all the amazing stuff that's happened in the last 6 weeks. I mean, do you feel that every day there's something new that's like, just wait a second, now we got to pay attention to this? It's just like this constant.
It is.
News is like every day. It's always a Monday when like shit hits the fan, so I don't know what tomorrow looks like. There's just so much to talk about.
Yeah, it really is. There's always something new. The world is giving us plenty to talk about. And tomorrow when we're on here, we're going to talk about. We both watched the Netflix film, The Social Dilemma, which I'm sure a lot of people have heard on. And my friend Erica Rhodes, who's the comedian, has agreed to come on. We're going to chat with her about it this week, which we're very excited about. And but the social dilemma is it was quite a film, wasn't it? Like you're,
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. I think you had sent me that article where the flip side is people think it's like over dramatizing. There's like a big overreaction to, but for myself, and when I worked in the online advertising, I worked at Google, and they make you sign a lifetime NDA when you leave Google. You're
yeah,
forced to sign it. But NDAs don't really hold up in court anyways. So you have all, in this movie is all these engineers and creators of these platforms coming out and saying that it's gotten out of hand.
yeah,
And the AI and what they've built is basically out of their control. And that's the existential crisis that we're in. So I think it's a brilliant film. I think they did a really great job. I've pushed for everyone to watch it. I mean, there's a reason why I quit my career at Google. So
yeah.
amongst many reasons, but I could see where this was going, and I quit it, years ago. But yes, I'm excited to have Erica on tomorrow and to discuss all the intricacies of the big tech and how they are, too much power, and not enough regulation.
Yeah, I think that yeah, and we'll get into that in detail tomorrow. It'll be really interesting to chat about it. I feel like that it has been just in this crazy world and everything that's going on. There's as I said a second ago, there's been plenty of it's giving us plenty of topics to talk about. So I don't want to delve too far into that one because it is a big topic with a lot to say. So I'm trying to let's see what we've got. Like Vernon has joined the chat too. Who I know Vernon. I mean he's from KC. How you doing, Vernon? He says that they're talking about Google and such. He says there's just all sorts of things that people are trying to work through as far as what do we do with social media and how regulated should it be, how hands off should it be, and everybody seems to really have an opinion about it. I think that it'll be interesting to how that where things go in the next 10 years. I think is going to be very telling.
Shit, Geoff, I think it's like in the next year,
Yeah,
in the next 2 years. This stuff is happening in real time.
Mm-hmm.
I think years ago when someone would create some kind of new technology or some, whatever, the new phone, it would take 10 years for you to see, okay, what do we have to do? But now with this particular AI capabilities, I think it's so rapidly changing that we're going to start to see all of those shifts and buttons being pushed or not pushed, or levers pulled and not pulled, the government coming in possibly. I mean, I think that's all going to happen way faster than what we normally are used to. It's hard to keep up with everything.
Yeah, I would definitely I would agree there. I think going in quite the direction. How overall, like, has it been? Maybe we'll talk about this for a couple minutes. We'll keep it short today, but do you find the culture overall in Atlanta much different than LA? Because I think this is a really interesting topic, in that you see people live in different cities in the Midwest, and how there's literally a different, a culture change city to city. Do you feel that in Atlanta? Like how I know we talked about like how the trees and that, but like are people different? Are belief systems different? How do you find Atlanta compared to LA overall?
Yeah, for sure. It's I will say it's really nice to be back on the East Coast. And the reason I say that is because when I first moved to Los Angeles, it took me about 6 years to really like it there. I really hated LA for like the first 6 years. I had struggled there. I couldn't understand the personalities.
Yeah.
And LA's just different. It's not known to be warm and fuzzy, and but I came from a city that is welcoming. So it was very peculiar to me to go into a city where people aren't as friendly. So it took me a while to understand the culture in LA, and finally call it home for so long. And then, it's when I started to move out here, and literally in the car moving out here, I could feel it, just like all that tension and weight just kind of melting away.
Yeah.
And it's the constant go, and the constant one-upping each other, and you just don't have that here. It's a lot more of a simpler, everyone's really friendly. Politics, I've noticed, is a very touchy subject.
Really?
Yes. That's not something everyone really wants to talk about. They usually avoid the conversation completely.
Really?
Whether they're conservative or liberal, it's just not something they really want to dive into. So it's an interesting, it's interesting. It's really friendly, which I love, genuinely friendly, and I've met a few people that like are nice to your face, shitty behind your back, like the typical Southern style, like that we all know the South to be. But generally speaking, I mean, everyone waves and is smiles, there's just a breath of fresh air here where you can be like, okay, everyone's just really a community. Whereas LA is not really known to be like community based, it's more individualized based. So in that regard, culturally, absolutely, I think it's very different.
I wonder
and it's a nice breath for me, personally.
Yeah. I wonder if LA can. I do think people have that perception of it, and I wonder how much. I mean, there must be some truth to it. Obviously, I try to see too much out of it, but like, I wonder, like, people have that perception of LA, and I wonder what LA does, if anything, to try to help, change that. I wonder.
I mean, I don't think we need to, because there's so many people that move to LA.
Yeah.
The less that come per year, the better there. Do you know what I mean? Like they don't need to make it anything more than or less than what it is. I think they're just like, this is LA. If it works for you, awesome. If it doesn't, I mean, it worked for me for 15 years.
Yeah.
And I don't know how long I'll stay here. I had no idea I was going to stay in LA for 15 years. I live much more in the present than I do worrying about, okay, guess I'll be here for the 6 months or whatever. I have no idea. Nobody knew there was going to be a pandemic this year, So it's like planning, to be honest, is really, futile and fruitless, to be honest. I mean, it's kind of difficult.
I think it's like anything. I think you have to it's like, even with cities, they kind of have to be what they are, how they are, and just, whatever people want to think about them, hey, it's what we are. I think LA's done that for a long time. Johan's saying he's from Kansas City. I'm from St. Louis. Johan, I know Kansas City well. He says, he's talking about Google again, what's going to happen as far as, are we going to have Terminator all over again or what?
Well, it's funny because we'll make jokes about Terminator, but when ultimately it's a technology that's out of hand, and it's like, hey, everyone's sounding the alarm. At what point do you do something about it? And it's up to the creators. It's their job to figure this out. They were the one that created this. They opened the Pandora's box. You can't really shove it back in, but how do you fix it? And be sure to tune in tomorrow, because we're definitely going to be knee deep in all of that stuff. So it's going to be a great show.
Yeah, we can get more into it tomorrow. So how, because this is just like a rough freestyle, how long do you have today? How long do you think we should go? What do you got? You go 5 more minutes?
I have minus 5 minutes.
Okay.
So I'm 5 minutes behind.
So we got about, okay, so we're 5 minutes behind. So we're going to go for another 60 seconds and we'll sign off. It'll be a quick one today. So This was great. I wanted to try it out. We had a few people in here. It was a lot of. Thank you for the people who are complimenting in the chat about the studio. Thank you guys. It was a lot of work getting this set up, and it's still an ongoing thing. Akira, who's our tech advisor, is actually in the chat right now. Akira says, "Akira here, 100% on point. Good job." So he's happy with how we got it done. So it was a lot of work.
Jeff.
Thank you guys.
Pat yourself on the back.
Huh? What?
Pat yourself on the back. You did awesome.
Yeah, pat yourself on the back. We've got our, this got, the backdrop going again. But we're gonna have fun with this, you guys. Thank you. Yeah, it was work setting up. It'll be an ongoing project. But this is a short episode 42, and just wanted to get on here and do that. So we'll be back tomorrow.
Jeff and Kira's back.
I know, right?
I've missed you, Jeff.
6 weeks hiatus. We've got it set up now. We can go weekly. We'll do it weekly.
I know.
Mondays.
I know.
Mondays will be our thing. Thank you guys for being here. Thanks, Vernon. Vernon says it looks great. Yeah, you guys both. Oh yeah, Vernon, not Johan. That's yeah, I got it, Vernon. Okay, cool. He's just clarifying who said what. It gets confusing in the chat, but yes, totally. Vernon from KC, awesome. Thank you, everybody. Launch Radio, Geoff and Kira live. Back tomorrow. 42.
Tomorrow.
Later.
Bye,
Peace
guys.
Out. Bye.